disruptive.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Been a fantastic day so far. So, Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. You know, that day happened. And because of that day, and because Mark Hamill, Skywalker, is such a good little boy for the establishment, he got to go on a little field trip to become a press secretary for the day. I kid you not. It actually happened. So, ABC News reporting that Mark Hamill made an appearance at the White House press briefing on Friday, referring to President Biden as the most legislative successful president in my lifetime. Hamill opened the floors to questions, requesting no Star Wars questions, please. Jeez. That's right, folks. Luke Skywalker is now doing press briefings for the Empire. Who would have thought, all you sci-fi fans out there, that he would go into his father's footsteps? And you want to see how this goes? Because it's even more funnier when you watch it. Watch how sad this is.
How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands? Yeah, me either.
Okay, show of hands. How many people think he's drunk? Anyone? Anyone? You heard his, like, slur right there. And the fact that he's wearing large aviators, like, he looks like he just stumbled out of a bar at 3 in the morning. And I guess, like, picked up by the White House. Hey, you know, it's Star Wars Day, so maybe you can, like, make an appearance. That's just sad. That's just sad. As a celebrity, that's that gotta be the lowest point in your career. Like, at what point do you have to start saying no? At what point do you have to look at this and go, like, why the hell would this benefit my career? What would Mark Hamill be thinking? Like, oh, well, if I join the press briefing in the White House today, do you think that's gonna, like, increase my movie career? Like, let me talk to my agent. Like, that'd be the lowest point. The lowest point of someone successful like him. But let me play this again. And again, tell me if he's drunk.
How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands? Yeah, me either. And look, I just got to meet the president. He gave me these aviator glasses. I love the merch. Love it all. But listen,
oh my God, like, I love the Empire so much. Like, the Death Star had a gift shop, and they gave me this, like, free lifesaver. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is sad. This is goddamn sad. Goddamn sad. And for someone that watched the original Star Wars, like, I'm not the fanatic as people would, the real Star Wars fans out there. Like, I don't know every character in the plot and scenario and all this stuff, but I've seen the movies. I get the storyline. And this destroys all of it. This destroys the entire franchise in one simple afternoon. That Luke Skywalker is doing a press briefing for the Empire that is, if he understood the movies that he was in, the movies that made him famous, would hate himself for it. He would hate himself for posing as a stooge for the Empire. But that is the celebrity go-to. That is Hollywood, folks. That you have to internally hate yourself, do everything that your career made you famous of, go against all that to pose as another ploy, a stooge for the Empire that is decimating on everyday civilians.
I just wanted to say I was honored to be asked to come to the White House.
Yeah, he does not look good.
The president, the most legislative successful president in my lifetime. And, you know, I don't have to go through the list.
Did he have a few shots of Nancy Pelosi before this? It sounds very familiar to that.
It's the bipartisan infrastructure law, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, all of that, inflation, 15 million jobs. Look, it's all good. I mean, I was really thrilled to meet.
What is he saying? Yeah, he did like the CHIPS Act and the inflation and it's all good. It's all good. Did anyone catch that? Did anyone catch that? By the way, Joe Biden failed all of those. Joe Biden failed at every point in turn to save the chips, to save people from high skyrocketing inflation. He failed people constantly. This man is worse than Weekend at Bernie's. And you have to have Luke Skywalker to play press secretary for the day like he won a contest and make up some gibberish of how great he is. He's great, right? Like, if I was in that room, I'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Are you drunk, sir? That's my first question. Are you drunk? Go back to the bar where you came from. Jeez.
The entire staff, because you know it's not just one person. It's like a composite endeavor. And all these people, my goodness, I mean, I have no idea. I had no idea just what went into what is on his plate on a daily basis. So that's pretty much it. I'm open to questions on your bingo.
This is a man-child. This is a freaking man-child. Like, I had no idea, like, the president had so many responsibilities. Like, I didn't realize that the commander-in-chief was, like, actually responsible for, like, economy and, like, jobs and, like, the military and, like, foreign affairs and, like, the GDP and, like, the border. Like, oh, my God. He has such a lot on his plate. A child would do better in this situation than I'm assuming 67-year-old actor. How old is Mark Hamill? Let's find that out. Okay, that's not working. Well, you'll find out for yourself. I'm assuming like 70s and almost into his 80s. I'm assuming so, considering how long the original Star Wars was. Oh my God. That is sad. That is absolutely sad. And like I said, the fact that Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, if he understood the roles that he was playing, which a lot of actors sadly don't, they just go in, do their job, and walk out. They don't actually have any remorse or any significance or understanding about the projects that they're in. They have no idea about the storyline. He would hate himself. And that's coming from George Lucas himself. George Lucas, the founder of the Star Wars franchise, the visionary that brought us these sci-fi films, is about to explain to you, and James Cameron in this interview, we've shown this before, that the Star Wars trilogy, the storyline, is everything that Mark Hamill should be against. He should not be praise himself as being a press secretary for today. He should be hating the establishment, because the Star Wars franchise, the whole story arc, was about being against the Empire, going against the authoritarian regime, going against people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the entire administration. And here's him to explain that.
Very interesting with Star Wars, if you think about it. The good guys are the rebels. They're using asymmetric warfare against a highly organized empire. I think we call those guys terrorists today. We call them Mujahideen, we call them Al-Qaeda.
When I did it, they were Viet Cong.
Exactly. So were you thinking of that at the time?
Yes.
So it was a very anti-authoritarian, very kind of 60s against the man kind of thing, nested deep inside of a fantasy.
Or a colonial, we're fighting the largest empire in the world.
Right.
And we're just a bunch of hayseeds in coonskin hats that don't know nothing.
That's right.
And it was the same thing with the Vietnamese.
Yep.
The irony of that one is in both of those, the little guys won.
Right.
And the big, highly technical empire,
the English Empire, right?
The English Empire, the American Empire,
Yep.
lost.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
And the most hilarious irony of all this is now the people that were in that story are part of the empire. They're part of the colony that they spent years fighting against. They sided with the enemy. They sided with the Death Star. They are now their own Darth Vaders and emperors. Again, that's Hollywood for you. That's Hollywood. That's the establishment. That's the whole mindset. Like, everything they do is, even if it's the worst of the worst, even if it doesn't do anything in benefit for them, they constantly think that, oh, if I kiss their ass even harder, that maybe it's going to be a career climb for them. That maybe Mark Hamill, posing as press secretary for a day, acting like a drunk child who just understood government for the first time, that maybe somewhere out there, his agents are going to call him and be like, yeah, you did such a great job. Maybe we can, like, pose him in a drama. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Oh, my God. Everyone wants Mark Hamill now. Because of how much of a stooge this guy is. And George Lucas. I don't know if he saw Mark Hamill at the press secretary. George Lucas would be frowning at him. George Lucas would be absolutely, look at how absurd that is. That Luke Skywalker's main character that he wrote to be against the establishment is the establishment. Wow. So I comment on this saying this George Lucas would despise Mark Hamill today. Happy Star Wars Day. Exactly. George Lucas would be pissed off right now. I don't know if he saw it or didn't see it, but he would be pissed off that the actors responsible for the fame and glory, the story arc, the entire orchestration of the Star Wars franchise that showcased and highlighted that they were the rebels going against this Imperial force, just got shattered by pathetic shills like Mark Hamill. Absolutely, hilariously tragic, really. Hilariously tragic. And this is Mark Hamill. This has been Mark Hamill for a long while, because before that, Mark Hamill decides to side with another notorious empire. The people that are slaughtering innocent lives by the thousands, mothers and young children. Again, you're Luke Skywalker. Your whole entire career, your whole entire persona, the reason why people adored you and still at least remember your name is because of Star Wars. And here you are being the exact opposite. I hope somewhere in a parallel universe, Luke Skywalker fights Mark Hamill and exposes him for what a shilling brat this guy is. Unbelievable. America stands with Israel. Yes, because America is being blackmailed by Israel. America also stands with a country that creates and forms their own terrorist groups so that they can fight the problem and cause reign and havoc and war all over around the world so they can capitalize off the death and disparity of humanity. That's kind of the joke there. That's kind of the whole ploy, the setup that you, Mark Hamill, should understand from your years on Star Wars. Like, oh my God. But I do love when people do like little memes, and I've started to do more and more memes. I never used to. I thought they were kind of like stupid, but they're kind of interesting the more people do it. So this is from the latest Star Wars movie. It says, do you feel it? And yes, that's Joe Biden. Yes, the Force is strong with the Force is strong with what do you call it? Joby-Wan Kenobi? That's what he called Joe Biden? Like, what? No. At this point, I would never hire Mark Hamill to be in any Star Wars movie ever again from doing that. If I was in charge of Star Wars, which I'm not, because if I was, I would actually try to emphasize the original creation that George Lucas was trying to prevail and not Disney-fy it or wokeify it or whatever they're doing right now. I would actually keep to the standard that Star Wars was, instead of just this glorified mishmash of corporatocracy. Here's also this. This is also another hilarious thing. This is from the Babylon Bee, but it seems like a legitimate headline. It says Mark Hamill joins Death Star press conference to say what a good job he thinks the Emperor is doing. That's what it is. That's literally what it is. And he can't even come to words on how great of a job the Emperor is doing. That's why he was like, he's doing great, right? Like, he is drunk off his ass and not realizing a damn thing. But Joe Biden's great, right? He gave me glasses, and I went into his Oval Office, and, like, he smiled and winked while we did a selfie. Awesome. I love the Death Star. There you go. As the grossness of celebrity fandom pouring themselves out for the governmental establishment, wrecking what any preservance, what any uplifting, like, people know him as Luke Skywalker, and he just killed himself by doing this. The character of Luke Skywalker is now gone because Mark Hamill severely stabbed him to shill with the enemy that he spent his whole life going against. Just sad.